A man accused of killing his own wife, who disappeared in mid-July, is being held in jail accused of her death.
This man chose to literally murder this woman and then try to act like a father.
I was looking at her baby last night. I don't understand how you could kill your baby's mother when she also has 3 more you could kill. It's like you're killing them.
It felt like I died when I heard she died. It felt like my body left my soul.
This is the 3rd child I lost to the state of Georgia. And if you think it's going to break me, it's not. I done seen all I can see. 3 of my babies gone. I want to thank Rockdale County. I didn't want to give y'all a chance, and I wanted him so bad. But I trusted y'all. And thank you. Thank you. It's not the news that we wanted, but I'm happy that we can hold them accountable.
That was Ronald Ackland, Immani's father. He has lost 3 children. Immani was the 3rd, and he still showed up to that podium. This family had already been carrying grief before any of this happened. This story is not just about one night in July. It goes further back than that. And as we get into it, you will see exactly what I mean. Immani's oldest son was 11. This is what he said.
It felt like I died when I heard she died. It felt like my body left my soul.
He was 11. Behind him, 3 more brothers, 9, 3, and a baby, barely 1 month old. That baby will never remember his mother. Now, if Immani left that Sunday evening with her 2 youngest boys, how did those children end up safe without her? And why did nearly 2 weeks pass before anyone publicly acknowledged that this woman had a husband? Let's get into it. Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. Immani Serafina Robertson was 30 years old. She lived in Conyers, Georgia, and she ran her own cleaning business called Mama Kay's Cleaning Service. She ran it herself. Residential jobs, office jobs. She posted videos showing what she could do, and she was not shy about it. She built that business while raising 4 boys, and she was proud of it. She had a verse she kept close, Romans 8, verse 18. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Immani's mother was Clarine Andujar White. She lived 2 streets away, and they spoke every single day, sometimes more than once. That was just their normal. Immani's father was Ronald Ackland, and he was very much present in her life. Immani also had a younger sister named Patience. Now Donnell Anderson. Donnell Anderson was Immani's husband. He was 22 years old. Immani was 29. According to Immani's father, Immani had been planning to leave. She was in the process of moving in with her mother just 2 streets away when all of this happened. They were still legally married on paper, but by July of 2023, Donnell Anderson was not living at the family home on Plantation Boulevard in Conyers. He was living at City Central Apartments on Metropolitan Parkway in southwest Atlanta, about 30 miles away. Immani had confided in people close to her, but she kept most of what she was going through to herself. Sunday, July 16, 2023, Immani spent that day at her mother's home with all 4 of her boys. They had dinner together. Her 2 older sons, the 9-year-old and the 11-year-old, were going to spend the night at their grandmother's house, while her 2 youngest, the 3-year-old and the newborn, were going home with Immani. At around 5:30 that evening, Immani left her mother's house with her 2 youngest boys. She was heading home, 2 streets away, and she was never seen alive again. The next morning, Clarine tried to reach her daughter. No answer. She called again. Still nothing. These 2 talked every day. That silence was not normal. She drove 2 streets to Immani's home. She let herself in and found the house empty. Immani was not there. Neither were the kids. But her purse was there. Nobody leaves without their purse. The next day, Clarine went to the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office. She reported her daughter missing. Not the children, just Immani. Investigators got to work. They placed a lookout, contacted family and friends, and started piecing together her last known movements. On July 19th, 3 days after Immani was last seen, investigators executed a search warrant on her home. They did not say publicly what they found inside. Foul play was evident. What they collected inside that house told them enough. The investigation moved to Atlanta and South Fulton County. Aerial searches, ground teams, cadaver dogs, flock cameras tracking license plates across metro Atlanta, and cell phone records. They used everything they had. Multiple agencies were involved: the GBI, Georgia State Patrol, Atlanta Police, South Fulton Police Department, and together they put over 400 hours into this case. While investigators were working, the family kept pushing from their end too. Clarine stood in front of cameras at the August 2nd press conference and gave a description of her daughter: 20 years, 3 children, and now she was at a podium asking anyone who would listen to help bring her daughter home. Ronald Ackland didn't stay quiet. He sat down with a reporter and went straight to it, reached into a bag, pulled out pieces of burned metal, and held them up to the camera. Those were pieces of his daughter's Mazda SUV found on July 27th, 11 days after Immani disappeared, in a remote wooded area off Camp Creek Parkway near Union Road in southwest Atlanta, 30 miles from home, burned from the inside out.
This is the radiator.
That's off the emblem.
And that's all for the emblem also. And that's the front of the emblem right there.
Investigators had to contact a specialist organization just to confirm the vehicle's identity through its physical parts because the fire had destroyed so much of it. Once those identifiers were confirmed, there was no question. That was Immani's car. Sitting there with those burned pieces in his hands, Ronald said this:
This is how we know something terrible has happened.
He had already seen the Ring camera footage from the neighbor across the street. Immani's mother had sent him that footage. She asked him what he thought. He made his peace with it then. That is what he said. Investigators were careful to note they could not officially confirm the nature of the sound on it, but the footage captured a loud sound, and immediately after that sound, Immani's white Mazda SUV backed out of the garage and sped away from the property at a high rate of speed. That was the last time that vehicle was seen leaving that address. According to Atlanta police, Immani's car was last tracked on the 200 block of Metropolitan Parkway in southwest Atlanta on the evening of July 16th. That is the area of City Central Apartments, Donnell Anderson's apartment, and the 2 youngest children, the 3-year-old and the 1-month-old, were found safe at that apartment with Donnell. Donnell Anderson told police that Immani had dropped the children off with him, but Immani was nowhere. She never called her mother. She never came back. Donnell Anderson never once reported his wife missing. Investigators kept working, the searches continued, and Ronald Ackland was not sitting still either. He was out there, talking to reporters, pushing the story forward himself, because he already knew. Nearly 2 weeks, no Immani and no answers.
Folks, just hours ago, a disturbing discovery as authorities searched for a missing mother of 4 out of Conyers. Immani Robertson vanished just 12 days ago, and last night, her torched SUV was found 30 miles away in Atlanta, and tonight, only in 11 alive. The father is sitting down with our very own Cody Alcorn. Now, Cody, this does not sound good at all.
No, Ron, not at all. In fact, Ronald Ackland believes his daughter has been killed.
This is the radiator.
That's off the emblem.
And that's all for the emblem also. And that's the front of the emblem right there.
The emblem from Immani Robertson's Mazda SUV, missing until 24 hours ago.
This is how we know something terrible has happened.
The white SUV found torched in this secluded area off Camp Creek Parkway in southwest Atlanta.
She did not deserve this.
Ronald Ackland.
I am Immani's father.
A grandfather to Immani's 4 children, Caden, Carter, Royal, and her newborn Lennox. Her babies now wondering what's happened to Mom.
Right, and they're asking.
Ackland believes the answer was captured on Immani's neighbor's Ring doorbell.
That's the fire, listen.
I heard the pow there.
The video is grainy, but listen.
That was a gunshot from a distance.
Listen again. 11 Alive can't confirm this was a gunshot. Following the loud noise, Ackland says Immani's SUV is seen in the grainy video backing out of the garage and speeds off. The last time it's seen until the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office says it showed up 30 miles away here off Metropolitan Parkway at City Central Apartments. But Ackland doesn't believe she was in it.
Her car was there. Now, who's saying that?
Now, Ackland says the father of Immani's newborn lives at those apartments. As of right now, this remains a missing persons case. Anyone with information is being asked to call the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office.
All right, Cody, thanks a lot.
It was August 3rd when one of the cadaver dog teams got a hit. A cadaver dog alerted at a specific location in South Fulton County, not far from where Immani's burned car had been found. Investigators processed the area, and they found a body. The body matched Immani's description: the build, the complexion, the tattoo sleeve on her left arm. Once investigators confirmed those details against photos from the family, there was no question. They had found Immani. The next morning, August 4th, Sheriff Eric Levitt addressed the public. She had been found approximately 2 miles from where her car was discovered, in a wooded area in South Fulton County. The sheriff's office did not wait. That same night, they moved on Donnell Anderson. Sheriff Levitt activated his SWAT team. They moved to City Central Apartments on Metropolitan Parkway in southwest Atlanta. Donnell Anderson was there, and after a brief standoff, he was taken into custody. Felony murder, malice murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm. Those children were in that apartment when the SWAT team showed up. The sheriff's office took them that night and released them to their grandmother. That is how Clarine got them back. Not through a quiet handoff, but through a SWAT arrest at their father's apartment. The next morning, the sheriff spoke.
You know, this is like a domestic. It is a domestic. It's a husband and wife. We've had about 4 to 5 murders this year, and every last one of them has been domestic family violence related. And if there's anyone that's out here that is involved in a toxic relationship, whether you are receiving mental abuse, verbal abuse, or physical abuse, it is not worth keeping quiet. And we need for you to step out and say something so we can end such tragedies like this, especially tragedies like this that involves children. These are 4 kids now without a mother, and unfortunately now without a father. And now the grandparents are stuck to raise these children. These children are going to need a lot of counseling. They're going to need a lot of support.
4 kids without a mother, and now without a father too. 5 days after Donnell Anderson was taken into custody, the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office announced a second arrest: Cedarius Glaze, 28 years old, Donnell Anderson's brother. Glaze was charged with tampering with evidence, concealment of a body, and arson. Investigators say the 2 brothers drove Immani out to that location in South Fulton County together, and Glaze was the one responsible for burning the car. That car Ronald held up in pieces on camera, the same one tracked 30 miles away. Glaze burned it. 2 brothers and Immani's family knew nothing. Now, why had nobody mentioned the husband? Why did the public go nearly 2 weeks without knowing Immani even had one? The sheriff answered that directly.
A second man has been arrested in the death of a Rockdale County mother of 4. Deputies have charged Cedarius Glaze with tampering with evidence, concealment of a dead body, and arson. Investigators found Immani Robertson's body last week after she disappeared in July. Over the weekend, deputies charged Robertson's husband, Donnell Anderson, with malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. Deputies say Glaze is the suspect's brother.
They knew from day one, and staying quiet was the plan. And it worked. After the sheriff, Immani's parents stepped up. Clarine spoke first.
Today is a very difficult day for our family, especially the mother and the father. As a mother and father, you know that your kids are in a very special way. And when I couldn't reach Immani almost 3 weeks ago, I knew something was wrong. Late last night, my worst fears
were confirmed, and our family is devastated. Being here today is extremely difficult for us, but I do want to thank the public who rallied around us and supported us for Immani's safe return. Thank you to the members of the national and local media who elevated the story. Lastly, Investigator Jones, Deputy Adams, and Sheriff Levette, and the whole entire team that worked diligently to bring Immani home. We thank you for your continued prayers and support as we work to care for Immani's beautiful boys without a mother. Thank you.
Without a mother. Those 3 words from a woman who had already buried 3 children before Immani, standing at a podium and thanking investigators for finding her daughter. Then Ronald spoke. He laid there with Royal, Immani's 3-year-old son, and he made his daughter a promise that everyone involved would be held accountable. 3 children, and he was still standing.
Immani's mom, for when she sent me the Ring doorbell video and said, what do I think? I made my peace with it then. I want to give thanks to Investigator Jones that at least they couldn't tell us. I understand that, but she did say that's what it sounded like to me too. So I said my goodbyes
to my daughter yesterday. And I told her, I promised her when I laid there with Royal that we will work with whoever we have to, and all people that's involved will be held accountable. This is the 3rd child I lost to the state of Georgia. And if you think it's going to break me, it's not. I done seen all I can see. 3 of my babies gone. I want to thank Rockdale County. I didn't want to give y'all a chance because I wanted him so bad. But I trusted y'all. And thank you. Thank you. It's not the news that we wanted, but I'm happy that we can hold them accountable. And I just ask all, if you know anything can help it go further, and anybody else that is involved, come forth. Because what has happened to us more than once can happen to any of you. And you will want us and everybody to be involved the same way you are. I was ready for it. And I will help take care of my daughters, her kids. Thank you, Georgia.
On the Sunday after Donnell Anderson's arrest, he appeared before a Rockdale County judge for a bond hearing. The judge denied bond. Donnell Anderson would remain in custody until trial, and Immani's family was there. Ronald stood outside that courthouse. Inside that courthouse, Ronald Ackland came face to face with Donnell Anderson. He told him he hoped he spent the rest of his life in prison. He had to be restrained. This man had already buried 2 children before Immani. He had sat in front of cameras with burned pieces of her car. He had made his peace with losing her weeks before it was confirmed. And now he was standing in a courtroom looking at the man investigators say took her.
We're hearing from the family members of Immani Robertson. This after her husband was denied bond today in court. He faces murder charges for her death. Fox 5's Eric Mock is live in the newsroom. Eric, the family had strong words for him in court today.
Yeah, they were pleased to see the judge deny him bond today, and they tell us they hope Donnell Anderson, if he's found guilty, never gets out of jail.
She just wanted a family. She just wanted a happy life.
Immani Robertson's sister, Patience, speaking to us outside the courtroom Sunday, right after Immani's husband, Donnell Anderson, was denied bond. 29-year-old Immani had been missing since July 16th. Her car was found burned days later in an area near Camp Creek Parkway. Then on Friday, cadaver canines led police to her body. Investigators say evidence collected pointed them in Anderson's direction. He was arrested Friday night by a SWAT team at an apartment in Atlanta. He will now stay in jail until trial. Patience says she believes Anderson got exactly what he deserved in court.
You shouldn't have anything. You should lose everything. Because that was just out of nowhere. For no reason. You're a sociopath to me, like you're insane.
Immani's father, Ronald Ackland, feels the same.
We're going to make sure that this malicious, malevolent person, to be so young, does not ever see the streets again.
The family tells us Immani leaves behind an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 2-month-old baby. And now police are looking to make another arrest in connection with her murder. Now, Robertson's family will be holding a candle lighting ceremony in her honor tomorrow night at 8 p.m. They're asking everyone who comes to bring candles and balloons in purple and white, as those were her favorite colors. At the live desk, Eric Mock, Fox 5 News.
Such a sad story. Thank you very much for that story, Eric.
The night after the bond hearing, Immani's family held a candlelight vigil at her home on Plantation Boulevard in Conyers. Family members and community members came out. They came with candles and balloons, purple and white, her favorite colors. Sheriff Eric Levitt was there too. And that night, he told reporters that 7 out of the 9 homicides his department had investigated that year were domestic violence related. 7 out of 9. Ronald spoke at that vigil as well. Balloons in her favorite colors over the house she had been trying to leave. She never got that chance.
The body of the Rockdale County mother who disappeared on July 16th has been found, and her husband is charged with her murder.
With the suspect now behind bars, Robertson's family gathered in Conyers tonight to hold a candlelight vigil to honor Immani's life. News Edge reporter Joy Dukes explains how her family and law enforcement are now trying to raise awareness about domestic violence.
He took somebody's mom, my mom.
For loved ones of 29-year-old Immani Robertson, it's been difficult in the days since their worst fears were confirmed.
It felt like I died when I heard she died. It felt like my body left my soul.
Robertson was reported missing in mid-July. Over the weekend, Rockdale County authorities announced murder charges against her husband, Donnell Anderson, after her body was discovered in a wooded area Friday. At a candlelight vigil and balloon release Monday evening, family members and community members gathered to raise awareness about domestic violence in light of her death.
I talked about, we never thought about harming one another.
Robertson's father, Ronald Ackland, said he believes his daughter would still be alive if she had told him what was going on. He had this message for young women and young men in relationships.
I just definitely want our men especially to really think about what you do when you act off of emotion.
Rockdale County Sheriff Eric Levitt was one of those who attended the vigil. He told Fox 5 7 out of the 9 homicides his department has investigated so far this year have been domestic violence related. He said the numbers paint a disturbing picture of what's happening in the community.
Life is precious. We only get one life to live. It's best to just walk away. It's best to reach out and get help and get out of toxic situations. You have 4 children that not only lost a mother, but they lost a father to jail.
Family members are now stepping up to raise those children, ages 11, 9, 3, and 6 weeks. A fundraiser has been started to help in covering the costs. Joy Dukes, Fox 5 News.
A few months after the arrests, a news crew went to check on Clarine at her home in Conyers. She had a Christmas tree up. On it, among the ornaments, was a pendant that said Mom. Purple for domestic violence awareness, pink because it was one of Immani's colors. 4 boys, 11, 10, 3, and a baby who by that point was about 6 months old. All 4 of them are under Clarine's care, growing up without their mother, and Clarine doing all of it while grieving her own child. Her niece had given her a book, and she shared one line from it. Grief is love. That is Clarine, grieving and still going. every single day.
New tonight at 11, while many families are home tonight celebrating the season, we know many of you are coping with the loss of a loved one and remembering them during this time. Well, the same rings true tonight for the family of Immani Robertson. The Metro Atlanta mother of 4 went missing back in July, and police found her body in August, charging her husband with her murder, changing the lives of her 4 boys, her young boys, forever. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn is here live in studio tonight, and I know, Cody, you stopped by Immani's mother's home in Conyers, where you say she's now raising those 4 boys.
That's right, Jonathan. Memories serve as a constant reminder of a loss. The first year, always the toughest. Immani's mom just making sure her grandbabies never forget the amazing woman who brought them into this world.
There's one that says Mom.
A pendant among the ornaments on this tree specifically chosen
to honor Immani, and actually I did the purple for domestic violence, and the pink is one of her most favorite colors, and we have the doves, and then we had this little saying up here because her just having a baby.
Clarine Andahar White, like almost every grandparent.
Thankful for my grandchildren, all of them. I have quite a few.
15, 4 of which she and her husband are now raising.
We're here to, represent Immani and to make sure that, the children are in a safe place.
While still trying to cope herself.
I remember her coming in the house and I just remember so many great memories.
Many created around this time of year.
Holidays are exceptionally hard.
Reminding herself and Immani's boys.
They are, experiencing that we can also make new memories and keep the old memories alive.
Knowing their mom is always watching over them.
The more her memory is here, the better we'll all feel.
And even a little advice to others.
But always remember, and it's a book from my niece, grief is love. So actually in loving that person, you can grieve as well.
Just an incredible woman. As for Immani's case, it could be heading to trial as early as 2024. Her husband, Donnell Anderson, is actually charged with her murder. His brother also arrested and facing charges in this case.
An online fundraising campaign was set up for the boys to help with everything they would need growing up. And people showed up. Those 4 boys will know their mother through the people still standing. Their grandmother, their grandfather, their aunt. The oldest already found his words at 11 years old. Immani Serafina Robertson was 29 years old. She had 4 sons, her own business, a mother who lived 2 streets away and talked to her every single day, a Bible verse she kept close, and plans to leave. By the end of 2023, Donnell Anderson was still in custody awaiting trial. Clarine said she had been told the case could go to trial as early as 2024. Cedarius Glaze was also still facing charges. As of this video, both men are still charged. No verdict has been confirmed publicly, and this family is still waiting. This story did not stay in Rockdale County. It opened up a conversation a lot of people were already having about Black women, about dangerous relationships, about which missing persons cases make the news and which ones quietly disappear. This case hit people hard, and not just in Rockdale County. People across the country were talking about what happens to Black women in these situations, and why cases like this one have to fight for the coverage they deserve. Walk away. Simple as that. Immani had made her decision. She was 2 streets away from where she needed to be. Clarine raising 4 boys, a grandfather on his 3rd loss, and an 11-year-old left to figure it out. Immani Robertson, 29 years old. Rest in peace, Immani. I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode of Crime of Passion. Thank you for watching.